Ethan's shoes hurt. He had been walking for 3 hours, and his feet felt like they were on fire. The 2 brown suitcases he dragged behind him kept bumping against his legs, leaving small bruises on his shins. But he didn't care. He was going to see his father. The valley stretched out before him like a giant green blanket. Ethan remembered this road. He used to ride in the back seat of his father's black car, watching the trees zoom past a window. His mother would sit in front, laughing at something his father said. Those days felt like a dream now, fuzzy and far away, like trying to remember a song you only heard once. His mother had been gone for 8 months. Ethan still remembered the day she stopped waking up. The doctor said her heart had given up, but Ethan thought hearts were supposed to be strong. His mother's heart had always seemed the strongest thing in the world. She had hugged him so tight the morning before she went to the hospital. She had whispered, "Be brave, my little lion," and then she never came home. After that, everything changed. His father, Marcus, cried for 3 whole days. Ethan had never seen a grown man cry before. It scared him more than anything. Then his father had to leave. "Business," he said. "Important meetings in the city. I'll visit you soon, I promise." He sent Ethan to live with Grandma Rose in her tiny cottage by the river. Grandma Rose was kind. She made chocolate cookies and told funny stories about when his father was a little boy. But her house smelled like old flowers, and the bed was too small. Ethan missed his own room. He missed the big valley house where he used to live with his parents, the one with the stone fireplace and the swing in the backyard. His father visited twice in the first month, then once, then not at all. Ethan would wait by the window every Saturday, watching for the black car. Grandma Rose would pat his head and say, "Your pop is very busy, sweetheart. He's working hard for your future." But Ethan didn't want a future. He wanted his father now. Last night, Ethan made a decision. He would go to the valley house himself. He would surprise his father and show him how much he had grown. Maybe if his father saw him, he would remember. Maybe he would smile again. Maybe he would say, "I missed you, son. Come home." So this morning, before the sun came up, Ethan packed his 2 brown suitcases. He put in his favorite shirt, the blue one with the rocket ship. He packed his mother's photo, the one where she was laughing at the beach. He packed his school books and his toothbrush and the stuffed bear his father had given him on his 7th birthday. He left a note for Grandma Rose. "Gone to see Papa. Don't worry. Love, Ethan." The walk was longer than he thought. His arms ached from pulling the suitcases. The sun climbed high and burned his neck. A nice lady at a fruit stand gave him an apple when she saw how tired he looked. "Where are you going, little one?" she asked. "To my father's house," Ethan said proudly. "In the valley." "That's very far," she said, frowning. "I know," Ethan replied, "but I'm strong." By the time he reached the valley house, the sun was beginning to sink. The house looked exactly like he remembered, tall and proud, with big windows that sparkled like diamonds. The garden was full of flowers his mother used to love. Ethan's heart jumped in his chest. He was home. He dragged his suitcases up the stone path to the front door. His hands shook as he reached for the doorbell. But before he could press it, the door swung open. A woman stood there. She was tall and thin, with sharp eyes and lips pressed into a tight line. Ethan had never seen her before. "Can I help you?" she asked. Her voice was cold, like winter wind. "I'm here to see my father," Ethan said, smiling. "Is he home?" The woman looked him up and down. Her eyes paused on his dirty shoes and wrinkled shirt. "Your father?" "Yes, Marcus Aldridge. He lives here. I'm his son, Ethan." The woman's face didn't change. "Mr. Aldridge is not accepting visitors." "But I'm not a visitor," Ethan said quickly. "I'm his son. I used to live here before my mama died." Something flickered in the woman's eyes. Not kindness. Something else. "I'm Mrs. Harlow, the housekeeper. Mr. Aldridge hired me to manage this house." He never mentioned a son. Ethan's stomach twisted. He didn't. "No." Mrs. Harlow crossed her arms. "And I don't appreciate children showing up at my door with wild stories." "It's not a story." Ethan's voice cracked. "I'm really his son. Please, I just want to see him. I walked for 3 hours. Please. Mrs. Harlow stepped forward, blocking the doorway. Listen carefully, boy. Mr. Aldridge is a very important man. He doesn't have time for situations like this. Whatever you think this place is to you, you're wrong. You don't belong here. But this is my home, Ethan whispered. Not anymore. Mrs. Harlow's voice was sharp as glass. Now, take your little suitcases and go back to wherever you came from. You're not welcome here. She stepped back and slammed the door. The sound echoed across the valley like thunder. Ethan stood frozen. His hands were still holding the suitcase handles. His mouth was open, but no words came out. Behind him, the sun dipped lower, painting the sky orange and pink. But Ethan didn't notice. All he could see was a closed door. His legs gave out. He sat down on the cold stone step, right there between his two brown suitcases. Tears burned in his eyes, but he blinked them back. Lions don't cry. His mother said lions are brave. But right now, Ethan didn't feel like a lion at all. He felt like nothing. Ethan sat on the cold steps for a long time. He watched ants march across the stone path. He counted them to keep his mind busy. 1, 2, 3, 4. His mother used to say counting helped when you felt sad. 27, 28, 29. But the numbers didn't make the hurt go away. Inside the house, he could hear footsteps. Mrs. Harlow was probably doing important housekeeper things. Dusting, organizing, making sure everything was perfect for his father. Making sure everything was perfect for everyone except Ethan. The sky grew darker. Stars began to peek out like tiny diamonds. Ethan shivered. He didn't have a jacket. It was in one of the suitcases, but he was too tired to open it. Maybe Grandma Rose was worried by now. Maybe she had read his note and called someone. Maybe she was angry. Ethan hoped she wasn't too angry. Then he heard it, the sound of a car engine. Ethan's head snapped up. His heart started beating faster. He knew that sound. It was a low, smooth purr of his father's black car, the one that used to take them to beach on Sundays, the one that smelled like leather and his father's cologne. Headlights swept across the driveway. The black car rolled to stop. For a moment, everything was silent. Then the driver's door opened, and a man in a gray uniform stepped out. That was Mr. Chun, the chauffeur. He had always been kind to Ethan, sneaking him candy when his parents weren't looking. Mr. Chun walked around the passenger door and opened it, and then he stepped out. Marcus Aldridge, Ethan's father. He looked different. Older, somehow. His face was tired, with dark circles under his eyes. His shoulders were slumped, like he was carrying something heavy that nobody else could see. He wore an expensive suit, but it was wrinkled. His tie hung loose around his neck. Marcus didn't see Ethan at first. He was looking down at his phone, scrolling through messages. He walked toward the front door, still staring at the screen. "Papa," Ethan whispered, but his voice was too small. It got lost in the evening air. Marcus reached for the door handle. "Papa," Ethan said louder. Marcus froze. His hand stopped in midair. Slowly, very slowly, he turned around. His eyes found Ethan. For 3 long seconds, Marcus didn't move. He just stared. His mouth opened slightly, like he wanted to say something but forgot how words worked. His phone slipped from his fingers and clattered on the stone path. "Ethan?" His voice was barely a whisper. "Hi, Papa," Ethan said. He tried to smile, but his lips were shaking. Marcus looked at his son sitting on the steps. He looked at the 2 brown suitcases. He looked at Ethan's dirty shoes and tear-stained face. Something changed in his expression. Confusion turned into horror. What are you doing out here?" Marcus moved forward quickly, his tiredness suddenly gone. "Why are you sitting outside?" "Where's?" The front door swung open. Mrs. Harlow stood there, her face calm and composed. "Mr. Aldridge, welcome home. I didn't expect you until tomorrow." Marcus spun to face her. "What is my son doing outside?" Mrs. Harlow blinked. "Your son?" "Yes, my son, Ethan." Marcus pointed at the boy on the steps. His voice was rising. "Why is he sitting out here in the cold? Why isn't he inside?" Mrs. Harlow's face remained smooth, but her eyes flickered. Mr. Aldridge, I had no idea. This child arrived claiming to be your son, but I assumed it was some kind of mistake. You never mentioned having a child. A mistake? Marcus's voice was dangerously quiet now. You thought my son was a mistake? He had no identification, no phone call announcing his arrival, nothing. He's 8 years old, Marcus shouted. The sound echoed across the valley. Even the crickets went silent. He's 8 years old. He doesn't need identification to come to his own father's house. Mrs. Harlow straightened her spine. With all due respect, sir, I was protecting your privacy. Many people try to take advantage of wealthy men. I was simply being cautious. Cautious? Marcus took a step closer. His hands were shaking. You left a child, my child, sitting outside for hours? In the dark. I told him to leave, Mrs. Harlow said, lifting her chin. I informed him he didn't belong here and wasn't welcome. I was doing my job. The words hung in the air like poison. Marcus went completely still. When he spoke again, his voice was so cold it could freeze fire. You told my son he doesn't belong here? You told him he wasn't welcome in his own home? Behind him, Mr. Chin cleared his throat. Sir, perhaps we should. Did you tell my son that? Marcus demanded, ignoring the chauffeur. His eyes never left Mrs. Harlow's face. Mrs. Harlow's confident mask cracked. I was protecting your interests. You hired me to manage this household efficiently, and I... Answer the question. Mrs. Harlow swallowed. Yes, I told him he wasn't welcome. For a moment, Ethan thought his father might explode. His face turned red. His jaw clenched so tight Ethan could see the muscles twitch. But when Marcus spoke, his voice was deadly calm. Get out. Mrs. Harlow blinked. Excuse me? Get out of this house. Right now. You're fired. Mr. Aldridge, please be reasonable. Home. Ethan took his father's hand. It was warm and strong and felt like safety. Together, they walked toward the door. I said, get out. Marcus roared. You have 5 minutes to collect your things and leave. If you're not gone by then, I'll have you removed. Mrs. Harlow's face went white. You can't be serious. Over some child who showed up without. That some child is my son. Marcus's voice cracked. His name is Ethan. His mother died 8 months ago. He's been living with his grandmother because I was too broken to take care of him, too much of a coward to face him without his mother beside me. And he walked for 3 hours to see me because I was too selfish to visit him. And you told him he didn't belong here. Tears were running down Marcus's face now. He didn't wipe them away. This is his home. This has always been his home. Every brick, every window, every blade of grass in this garden. It's his. More than it's mine. More than it's yours. And you made him feel like trash. Mrs. Harlow opened her mouth, then closed it. She looked at Ethan, then back at Marcus. Without another word, she turned and walked into the house. Marcus didn't watch her go. He was already moving toward Ethan. He dropped to his knees in front of the steps. His expensive suit soaked up the dirt and dust. He didn't care. He reached out and touched Ethan's face with shaking hands. I'm so sorry, Marcus whispered. I'm so sorry. Ethan's tears finally spilled over. I just wanted to see you, Papa. I know, buddy. Marcus pulled Ethan into his arms and held him tight. I'm here now. I'm right here. Behind them, Mr. Chin quietly picked up Marcus's dropped phone. He pretended not to see his employer crying. Some moments were too precious to interrupt. Mrs. Harlow came out 5 minutes later, carrying a small bag. She walked past him without looking, her shoes clicking sharply on the stone. A taxi was already waiting at the end of the driveway. Nobody said goodbye. When her taxi disappeared into the darkness, Marcus finally pulled back. He looked at Ethan's face, really looked at it, for the first time in months. You've grown, he said softly. A little bit, Ethan said. I miss so much. It's okay. No. Marcus shook his head. It's not okay, but I'm going to make it right, starting right now. He stood up and held out his hand. Come on, let's go. The house felt different. Ethan stood in the doorway, looking at the familiar rooms. Everything was the same. The big stone fireplace, the soft couches, the painting of mountains his mother loved. But somehow it all looked new. Maybe it was because his father's hand was still holding his. Maybe it was because this time he was truly welcome. Marcus squeezed Ethan's hand. Wait here for just 1 second, okay? He walked over to Mr. Chun, who was carrying Ethan's 2 brown suitcases. They spoke quietly. Ethan couldn't hear what they said, but Mr. Chun nodded and smiled at Ethan. Then Marcus came back. Mr. Chun is going to call your Grandma Rose and let her know you're safe. She's probably very worried. Ethan bit his lip. Is she angry? Maybe a little, Marcus said honestly, but mostly scared. When someone you love disappears, it's frightening. His voice got quieter. I know that feeling now. They walked into the living room. Marcus turned on the fireplace with a remote, and warm orange flames began dancing behind the glass. He sat down on the couch and patted the spot next to him. Ethan climbed up. The couch was so big his feet didn't touch the floor. For a moment, they just sat there watching the fire. Papa? Ethan said softly. Yeah, buddy. Why didn't you come visit me? Marcus closed his eyes. When he opened them again, they were shiny with tears. Because I was scared. Scared of what? Scared of being a bad father. Scared that without your mama, I wouldn't know how to take care of you. Scared that every time I looked at you, I would see her and it would hurt too much. Marcus turned to face Ethan. But you know what I learned today? Ethan shook his head. Running away from you hurt even more. And it hurt you too, which is the worst part. Marcus took Ethan's small hands in his big ones. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Your mama wouldn't be proud of how I acted. She would be very disappointed. Mama used to say everyone makes mistakes, Ethan whispered. She was right, but the important thing is fixing those mistakes. Marcus pulled Ethan close. So here's my promise to you. I'm not leaving anymore. My office can wait. My meetings can wait. You are the most important thing in my life, and I'm going to prove that to you every single day. Really? Ethan's voice was full of hope. Really? We're going to turn this house into a home again. Together. Ethan snuggled against his father's chest. He could hear Marcus's heartbeat, steady and strong. It sounded like safety. It sounded like love. Papa? I'm hungry. Marcus laughed. Really laughed. For the first time in months. Of course you are. You walked 3 hours. What do you want to eat? Can we have pancakes? Pancakes for dinner? Mama used to make them on special days. Marcus's smile wobbled, but he didn't cry. Then pancakes it is. Come on. They went to the kitchen. Marcus wasn't very good at cooking. He burned the first 2 pancakes completely black. Ethan giggled so hard he got hiccups. By the 3rd pancake, Marcus figured out. They sat at the kitchen table, eating slightly lumpy pancakes with too much syrup, and it was perfect. Tomorrow, Marcus said between bites, we're going to pick up Grandma Rose and bring her here for a visit. She can stay in the guest room. Really? Really? And then we'll go shopping. We need to fill your room with new things. You probably have different favorite colors now, right? Ethan nodded excitedly. I like blue now, and green, and anything with rockets. Rockets it is. Marcus wrote on a napkin. Rockets. What else? Books about space. And a telescope so I can see the stars. And a new backpack for school because mine has a broken zipper. Marcus kept writing, his smile growing with each item. We'll get all of it. Anything you want. I don't need lots of things, Papa, Ethan said quietly. I just need you. Marcus stopped writing. He looked at his son, this brave, kind, incredible boy, and felt his heart break and heal at the same time. You have me, he said firmly. Forever. I promise. After dinner, Marcus carried Ethan upstairs. Ethan was tired from his long walk, and his eyes kept closing. Marcus brought him to his old bedroom. It looked exactly like Ethan remembered. The blue walls, the shelf full of books, the window that looked out at the valley. Marcus helped Ethan change into pajamas and tucked him into bed. The sheets smelled fresh and clean. "Papa?" Ethan mumbled, already half asleep. "Yeah, buddy? Will you stay until I fall asleep?" "I'll stay all night if you want." "Okay." Marcus sat on the edge of the bed. He ran his fingers through Ethan's hair, the way he used to when Ethan was smaller. He hummed a song, the same lullaby Ethan's mother used to sing. "Papa?" Ethan's eyes were closed now. I'm glad I walked here." Marcus's throat felt tight. "Me too, son. Me too." Within minutes, Ethan was breathing deeply, fast asleep. But Marcus didn't leave. He sat there watching his son sleep, making silent promises. He promised to never miss another birthday, to never let work become more important than bedtime stories, to show up at every school play, every soccer game, every moment that mattered. He thought about Mrs. Harlow's words. "You don't belong here. Not welcome." How wrong she had been. This house wasn't just walls and furniture. It was memories. It was the sound of Ethan's mother laughing in the kitchen. It was Ethan learning to walk in the hallway. It was family dinners and Christmas, mornings and quiet Sunday afternoons. And now it would be new memories, too. It would be pancakes for dinner, and rocket-themed rooms and stargazing on clear nights. It would be homework at the kitchen table and movie nights on the couch. It would be healing together. Marcus finally stood up, careful not to wake Ethan. He walked to the window and looked out at the valley. The same stars that had watched Ethan walk 3 hours alone were now watching them both, together. He pulled out his phone and sent a message to his office, taking a leave of absence. Family emergency. Effective immediately. Then he sent another message to Mr. Chun. "Thank you for everything tonight. Take tomorrow off. Spend time with your own family." Finally, he sent a message to Grandma Rose. "He's safe. He's home. We're both home. Thank you for taking care of him when I couldn't. I'll make it right." Marcus set his phone down and walked back to Ethan's bed. He grabbed the extra blanket from the closet and settled into the big armchair in the corner of the room. He wasn't going anywhere. Not tonight. Not tomorrow. Not ever again. As he drifted off to sleep, Marcus heard Ethan mumble something in his dreams. It sounded like, "Love you, Papa." Marcus smiled in the darkness. "Love you too, buddy. Always." The fire downstairs continued to burn, filling the house with warmth. The stars outside kept watch over the valley. And in that house, their home, a father and son finally found their way back to each other. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk 3 hours to find your way home. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is admit you were wrong and choose to stay. A message to you. This story reminds us that home isn't just a building. It's where people love you, protect you, and make you feel like you belong. Marcus learned that money and success mean nothing if the people you love feel abandoned. Ethan learned that sometimes you have to be brave enough to go after what you need. If this story touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Drop a comment below about what family means to you. Have you ever had to fight to feel like you belong somewhere? Have you ever had to choose between work and the people you love? And remember, it's never too late to make things right. It's never too late to come home. Like this story? Subscribe for more emotional tales about courage, family, and second chances. Stay kind, stay curious, and never forget, you always belong somewhere. The door is always open. You just have to be brave enough to walk through it.